Fridays, Fancyfied Fridays, Fancyfied Fridays. Here we are. It is April 17th, and we are going to be discussing, as you can see here, at least I hope you can see it, vision, mission, and values. Fancyfied Fridays, Fancyfied Fridays. Can you guys? You were having some technical difficulties there. This Fancyfied Fridays. Let's see. I think we're synchronizing. I think we're activated. Let's double check. All right. So now that I see people trickling in, Mike, Bug, Nat, G, welcome to Fancyfied Fridays. I don't think you guys know what I do and who I am, but if you stick around, you're going to learn, because today's we're going to be talking about a very important topic: vision, mission, and values. Matter of fact, just so that I can ensure you guys are hearing me, I'm going to plug in my microphone. And that should help with the sound. Cool. Excellent. Let's double check to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. All right, cool. So welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Fancyfied Fridays is the day of the week that we proactively ensure that we're putting ourselves in a positive state of mind to end the week on a high note. It's quite stressful, this quarantine situation, this isolation, but we're doing the best that we can with what we have, and that's exactly what today's conversation is designed to do. Make sure that we are equipping ourselves with the right tools to not just make it through this shelter in, this predicament of being isolated from one another and all that jazz. What we're doing today is we're really going to want to hone in on how to harness the power of a vision, mission, and value statement to help us achieve our dreams, to help us achieve our goals, and ensure that we are using this as a compass to navigate life, right? Because let's face it, it's really difficult to elevate. It's difficult to work through challenges. Problems can be very disruptive. And so that's what Fancyfied is all about. How do we navigate? So if you guys are with me, I see a couple people in the chat. Christopher Strong. Let me get some shout outs. Let me get some interactions here going. Cliff, you just joined. Say what's up. Cool. So for those of you who are not familiar with Fancyfied, I think it's important for me to talk a little bit about, who I am and why I'm even doing this, right? So you see Fancyfied here. Well, what does that really mean? Well, I am a motivational speaker. I am a empowerment lifestyle brand. And I work with a lot of people. I work with a lot of organizations to help them harness the power of positivity and unity to create new and favorable possibilities for themselves and others. And that actually plays into my personal mission, which we'll get into. A little bit more about me. I've been in tech for a long time, 10 plus years. What's up, Dina? Glad that you were able to join. And really, I've been curating this community in which our values revolve around upliftment, empowerment, inspiration, and unity. I'm going to get into that in more detail, but I thought that for today's conversation, it would make sense to touch upon how I came up with my vision, mission, and values. So we're going to unpack that. We're going to also showcase folks like Oprah Winfrey. If anybody's playbook, we can be inspired by, it's certainly hers. So we'll talk about her mission, her vision as well. And, I'm sure a lot of you guys, Gilles Gauthier just joined. Sounds French. Bonjour. We've got Cliff, we've got Christopher, Harold, and so forth. So, guys, why are we discussing vision, mission, and values? Well, These guidelines help motivate us to do the things that we don't necessarily want to do. We may not think that we're capable of doing. We might not feel as though we have the qualifications or the expertise to do. So it's really important to have a compass, to have guidelines, right? If wherever you live in the world, I'll tell you this, there are rules and regulations to help govern the society, right? To make sure that people aren't wilding out. Well, this is a structure that we can leverage to ensure that we're not wilding out. And when we are wilding out, we're bringing it right back, okay? So these guidelines, again, are to help motivate us, to help stay on track with respect to what we're trying to accomplish. And it's about defining who we are and how we intend to live. What's up, RL? Thank you for joining Fancyfied Fridays. So yeah, let's get into it. We always kick off Fancyfied Fridays with this framework: a positive share, an action step you're going to take to overcome whatever challenge you're facing. A positive share, a challenge, and then an action step you're going to take to overcome that challenge. The reason why we do that is because for those of us that have just joined, Fancyfied Fridays is a framework in which we are using positivity to drive positive actions, which leads to positive results, ideally. And over time, it 1,000% will lead to the results that you want to see. So my positive share, right? It's interesting because with this COVID-19 situation, it's been super confronting. I've had a number of breakdowns up and down, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. So talk to me. Let me hear from the chat. If any of you guys are able to, how you guys are coping with this situation. It looks like we're not streaming on Instagram, so I'm just going to refresh. Hold on one second. We've got going on. Faint of heart. Doing these lives is not for the faint of heart, I tell you. It's all kinds of interesting challenges to sort through. All right, I think we're live now. Excellent, cool. Welcome to Fancyfied Fridays. We're starting a few minutes behind. We had some technical difficulties, and now I see folks coming in. Excellent, excellent. Mia from South Africa, so happy to see you. That's one of my besties. And we've got Precious Sun. Welcome back. I think you were here last week. Good to see you. What's up, Rel.IRL? That's my peoples from the Bay. Welcome to Fancyfied Fridays. We're starting a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties. What's up, Masi? Ghana's in the house. So good to see you. You see Fancyfied is back on the braids because I just couldn't comb my hair. All right, excellent. So we're going to get this party started. Welcome to Fancyfied Fridays. Sandra says you're giving us indigenous goddess vibes today. You know what? I was going for that. Not necessarily at the forefront of my mind, but I'm glad you called it out. Yay, Alpha. I love you guys. It's so great to see my people from all around the world. Alpha TA is streaming from, or coming into the conversation from Spain. All right, guys, we're going to get into it. We have about 21 minutes to get through today's session. The corporate centric. Okay, right back at you. All right, guys, here we go. So welcome to Fancyfied Fridays. Fancyfied Fridays is the day of the week that we proactively put ourselves in a positive state of mind. We have a framework that we leverage to ensure that's the case, because going into the weekend, we want to make sure that we have the right state of mind going into a period of rest. That's also too where, you have downtime, and if you're in a positive state of mind. Alina, what's up? From the east side to the west side, Alina. We got to get up when this isolation is done. But anyway, guys, the point that I'm making is that ending the week on a high note is mission critical, especially with this isolation and not being able to engage the way that we are accustomed to. So the Fancyfied Fridays framework is super simple. The first step in the process is a positive share. Like, for example, for me, my positive share is this week I had to really anchor on making sure that I recognize the choice that I have to put myself in a positive state of mind. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that we all have the ability to choose, right? Like, should we choose the glass is half empty, which is super circumstantial, or should we choose the glass is half full? I, especially with the whole concept of Fancyfied being around positivity, proactively and I strive to put myself in a positive state of mind all the time. Yes, official Masi Hair Studio from Ghana. You look good, girl. I can't see you, but I can envision you. So anyway, positive share, right? Making sure that I am continuously going back to a positive state of mind, which means that I'm identifying things that make me happy, that inspire me, especially when I feel like off kilter. This was a really tough week. I had a lot of like ups and downs. Let me hear from you guys. What are your positive shares? You know, like recognizing the things that you have to be grateful for always puts us in a good state of mind, a state of being, right? Me knowing that I have the power to choose that over a negative state of mind makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel like, okay, I have some semblance of control, especially now when, you know, being told you can't go out. Naj Fleurmont, what's up, girl? I have your book. She's got a phenomenal cookbook. I have it on my refrigerator. I think about you a lot. We got to catch up soon. So anyway, you know, perception is reality. That's what they say. So again, in the vein of my positive share, I'm choosing a perception that's rooted in the glass is half full versus half empty. So that's Fancyfied's positive share. What about you guys? Let's start getting the positive shares coming in. Let's start getting the positive shares coming in. And as I'm waiting for you guys to, you know, say what you have to say and you know, bring the community, mobilize the community around what's exciting, what's working in your life, what you have to be grateful for, I'm going to move to the next step in the framework, which is a challenge. Wow. This, I could go on for days with the challenges. But my challenge is to remember when hits the fan to recalibrate, right? Like we have a framework, you know, we know that we can harness positivity to create new possibilities for ourselves and others. That's a very powerful stance to be in. So my challenge is to continuously remind myself of that. So what about you guys? Let's see. Does anyone have a positive share they want to share with the community? This community is a very nurturing, very encouraging, very empowering space. So this is the place to share your thoughts. I talked to you guys about my positive share. I talked to you guys about my challenge. Nina Bobina says her positive share is I became a pro bowler on Wii. Who knew she had that hidden talent? This is what I'm saying. Going beyond your comfort zone, especially in a time like this, since we're been thrusted outside of our comfort zone, is a really great way to like show that we have control and we can always find great things, you know, to work on. Working on things is a good thing. You know, being able to elevate is a good thing. So Sandy J. Cruz says, positive share, HBO, put the full episode of Insecure on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? HBO looking out. We all need Issa Rae in our life. Let's see. I know of Terrence, his positive shares, to listen with openness. I like that one. That's a really powerful share because a lot of times we hear things and we're looking at it through our own perspective and our own lens, and not being open to, you know, where another person's coming from can prevent that connection, right? Ofa TA says, my positive share is that I know how lucky I am to have a roof above my head. The fundamentals, Ofa. I was thinking that to myself. I'm like, instead of focusing on what I don't have, focusing on what I do have and being grateful for it. That is power. Cool. So if you guys have any challenges that you want to share, excellent. So I have a question for you all. Let's see. Here's a quote, and I'm going to read it to you. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. That's by Audre Lorde. She is a activist. She fought for social injustice, to overcome social injustice. And I say that quote because last week we spoke about being the CEO of your life, right? We talked about the importance of, you know, what it is that we want to accomplish, the critical nature of writing things down. But the thing is, you know, now that we have some idea about what we're trying to accomplish, creating a structure that allows us to continuously move towards accomplishing that goal, that's what this is all about. That's what having a vision, which is the dream you want to achieve, the mission, how you plan to achieve that dream, and the values, which are who you are as a person and what you stand for. This is a lot to unpack, so I don't know if we'll be able to go through the whole entire kind of workshop in the next 20 minutes or so. We may need to continue this conversation next week. Stay tuned. We'll see how that goes. But I'll tell you my personal story about how I came to the, vision, mission, and values at Fancyfied. I was working at a big tech firm. I was working at LinkedIn, and I just noticed that, at the end of the week in particular, people were not necessarily in the greatest spaces as they were leaving, going into the weekend. And for whatever reason, I just said, you know what? I really want to do something to change that. I want people to be happy. I want people to be excited about going into their weekend. And so I just, they say that necessity is the mother of invention. So I created this positivity lunch, and what you see here has, I've been working on it for quite a few years. And now I'm, opening it up outside of one organization and really to the world. But in having these positive, lunches and these conversations where people can only talk about positive things, it made me start to think about, okay, I have a vision. It made me start to think, wait a minute here, I want to scale empowerment globally. I want everybody to understand and have a playbook to cope with, their life and, whatever's going on in their life, and remember that they have the power to choose something better than whatever's going on. So that led me to create the vision of scaling empowerment globally. What's up, Nina Bobina? She says, people were like, thank God for Fancyfied Fridays. TGIFF. Yeah, Nina was my colleagues at LinkedIn. She remembers when I created Fancyfied Fridays. But I say that to say, what it taught me was having structure that helps me make decisions around how I live my life has helped me make better decisions, because my decisions are in alignment, as much as I can, are in alignment with what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. In my case, scaling empowerment globally, which is my vision. How do I do that, right? How do I actualize my vision? How do I operationalize my vision? Well, the mission, right? The mission is how you plan to achieve your dream. How am I going to scale empowerment globally, for example? So let me pause here. Let's hear from you guys. Talk to me. Does anybody have a vision, mission, value statement already? Has anyone been thinking about, what it is that they want to accomplish, their big, hairy, audacious dream? This is the your why. Why do I exist? What's my purpose? That is really important, because when you have a purpose, when you know what your vision is, there's not anything you can't handle. Not to say that you're not going to have challenges, not to say that you're not going to have, issues, but it will give you motivation. So Sandra says, Principles by Ray Dalio. Exactly. That's a great book. I want to pin that. I want you guys to check out Ray Dalio. He's a brilliant financial guru. He has a lot of great content on LinkedIn, actually, that he's posting. Sandra put me on. That's what I'm saying. You need the right people in your life. You got to curate your community. You need people who are going to add value and give you guidance. She's one of those people. So thanks, girl. Check out Ray Dalio. Okay, cool. So Disney's vision, right? You guys all know Disney. Disney's vision is super simple. It's to make people happy. And I was like, that is so ingenious. Virtually every organization has a mission, vision, value statement, because that also helps keep their employees on track. Everyone's working towards that same goal. So, New Paradigm Foundation, welcome to Fancyfied Fridays. So the vision, again, is a statement that companies outline, people outline, that is associated with accomplishing their dream. So the same definition can be applied to our own lives, right? Companies have missions and visions to accomplish certain goals. What are your goals? I'd love to hear from you all as to what it is that you're wanting to accomplish. And we can start to build out a vision based on that, right? Today's conversation is meant to get the wheels in your mind turning. I'm pretty sure we're going to need to, in next week's discussion, keep this conversation going, because there's so much here. But today, I'll just give you a high-level overview. So, we talked about Fancyfied's vision, it's just to scale empowerment globally. MJ Visionary One says, hi, hello, darling, hello, my Haitian sister from another mister. So, if you guys have a vision, mission, please share them. We would love to see them. But we're going to keep the conversation growing. Keep the conversation going. So a good vision statement, guys, you would find it, it would speak to the different aspects of your life, right? So it would encompass your relationships, it would encompass your career, it would encompass every aspect of your life, which also ties back to being the CEO of your life, right? Looking at things in totality, looking at things holistically. So your vision, again, should be, how do you intend to accomplish the goals of your dream, right? And so, again, a pro tip is to spend some time thinking about what it is that you want to contribute to the world in the grand scheme of things, right? What is it that you came to the world to do? The vision also ties back to your purpose, right? Like, go ahead, guys, tell me who knows what their purpose is, right? Like, vision and purpose, I think, are comparable. So if you guys have a vision or a purpose, you're clear on that, let us know. I'd love to hear about it. But I want to give you guys some action steps that you can take to start to develop what your vision and what your mission is. So a couple of questions that I recommend asking yourself, right? What is it that I do that makes me unbelievably happy and benefits other people? That's a really powerful question to ask ourselves. Nina says her vision is helping people make their dreams come true. This is the type of person that I want to be friends with. This is the type of person that I want to be in my family. I want people to, I want people in my life who know their why. Because if you know your why, you can endure almost any what, and you can imagine the how. What are the things that I need to do to realize this? The thing is, if we have a cause that we serve greater than ourselves, it empowers us. It motivates us. It will drive us to do the things, again, that we're not necessarily comfortable doing. The reason why that's important, especially in a time like now, is because the rug has been pulled out from underneath us. We are, living in a very precarious time. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear, quite frankly. There's a lot of, it's scary. A great book, Star Girl 9, says The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. I read that and I love that. And matter of fact, I think that we're going to need to continue the conversation around vision, mission, and values next week. So this will give you guys some time to think through what it is that your dream. What is your dream? Just start from there. What is your dream? What is your purpose? What is your why? There's a great book by Simon Sinek called Why, which I'll also suggest taking a look at. He has the most popular TED Talk I think ever watched. So you can also see his conversation and how he sort of wrapped his head around, purpose and associating purpose with why, which again, right? Your vision. What is my life devoted to? Why do I exist? What is my value add? These are really great questions to ask ourselves because, again, they're going to help us, motivate us, inspire us, and keep us on track. You need to have a vision. When you have a vision, you can continuously work towards realizing that vision. And that's exactly why in today's Fancyfied Fridays discussion, I wanted to make sure that you walked away from the conversation with a clear understanding of your vision, or at least how to start thinking about your vision. Your mission from there. What am I going to do? What are the steps that I need to take to make this a reality? How am I going to get this popped off? These are great questions to ask ourselves because you also get power from them. You get power because you are being empowered. You are inspired, right? Like when you start to think about my dreams, just saying it out loud is like, ooh, okay, yeah, I got some momentum. That's what's up. Okay. So all of this stuff is obviously searchable on Google, guys. You can totally do your whole, you can do research. You can do a worksheet. I didn't spend too much time speaking about values, but this is something that before we end today's discussion, I want to just, I want to speak to, because who you are as a person and what you stand for, right? This is really interesting. a lot of times we just kind of, live life and, it's very reactionary, but having forethought, meaning having an idea about how do I want to show up. I remember when I was coming up with the whole Fancyfied movement, I thought to myself, what is it that I want people to leave me? Like when they interact with me, what is it that I want them to walk away from the experience of being with me? And I was like, I want people to feel uplifted. I want people to feel empowered. I want people to feel inspired. And I want to unite people around positivity. I was very intentional and deliberate about that. And do not get me wrong, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not an easy undertaking. This is hard. I'm just going to level set. However, what makes it worthwhile is being able to show up in a space before you even step foot in the space. People know you as how you've defined yourself, because that's how you've chosen to exist. You are proactively putting yourself in a position where you're using your vision, mission, and values to structure how you show up. So Nina says, yes, ask your friends for 3 words that would best describe you. I absolutely love that, because you want to know how are people receiving you? I want people, when they experience me, interact with me, to feel uplifted, empowered, inspired, and united. And by virtue of being intentional about that, it helps me to interact with people in alignment with that. So Sandra and Nina are going back and forth. She says, great suggestion. And this is what I'm saying, guys. Like we're coming to Fancyfied Fridays. The power half an hour is coming to an end. We got to a late start today, which kind of threw things off a bit. But the key takeaways are having a vision, which is exactly, thinking about like what in the grand scheme of things are you wanting to contribute to the world? What is your dream? And by contributing to the world, I'm not saying that you need to be motivational speaker. I'm not saying you need to be a famous actress. I'm saying maybe you want to be the best mom ever. Maybe you want to be the best daughter. Whatever that means to you, I want you to start getting the wheels in your mind turning on what your dreams are. Secondly, I would love to have you think about, how am I going to actualize my vision? How am I going to take this big abstract concept and turn it into reality? That's where your mission comes into play. We're going to talk about this next Fancyfied Fridays, because we got a lot to unpack here. So homework assignment, if you so choose. I'd love for you guys to, in next Friday's conversation, think about your vision, mission, and values, and come to the conversation, and let's actually start to tweak, workshop it, and share with each other our why. I think this is really important, because at the end of the day, if we are thinking, if we're thinking in advance about how we want to live our lives, how we want to govern ourselves, it increases the probability of a more fulfilling life. It increases the probability of stronger relationships, and it helps drive success. Okay, boss, Nina says, man, you know how Fancyfied gets down. So we're wrapping up Fancyfied Fridays. It's a power half an hour. There's a lot more to discuss. I hope you'll join us next Friday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and wherever else you are in the world, I may not know, but that's the time. This is the place, and I can't wait to receive you. So, I love you. Sending light, sending love. Thanks for joining us today. We apologize about the technical difficulties, but we will be back next week at the same time. And if you guys missed it, or you want to take a look at what we spoke about because you came late or what have you, you can check me out on YouTube at Fancyfied. But again, look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to be streaming live at Fancyfied. The vision, mission, and values conversation shall be continued. Yes, and I'm bringing and you're bringing a friend, Lorraine Tiffany says, bring them all. Everybody could benefit from this conversation. I can't wait to see you. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend. Sending lots of light and love, and that's Fancyfied.